So this question starts off with the blurb here above the answer choices, which says which choice most logically completes the text. This makes this a logical completion question, which of course is paired with playing King of the Hill as usual. In order to answer this question, we're going to read the passage and be very careful to make sure we understand all of the details that are mentioned in the question. I like to pause and just digest that information as I read it. It helps as I go through the answer choices because I'm not having to remind myself of information or go back and reread information, although I'm prepared to go back and reread if necessary. So to do that, I like to read slowly. And of course, as I see information come up, especially important information, just maybe repeat it to myself or digest that information. And you'll see what I mean by digest. Okay, so the passage says, data collected by the Mars rover Curiosity at the Gale crater's Murray Formation are suggestive of hydrological deposition of sediment in the distant past. Okay, so we have some data collected from the Mars rover, and it tells us something about the past. To characterize the nature of the depositional environment, Francis Rivera-Hernández et al. Analyzed the grain size of Murray Formation sediment, finding that although there are intervals of coarse grains, most of the sediment consists of fine grains that show signs of cracking due to episodic desiccation. All right, so based upon sediment size, they're able to figure out that there was episodic desiccation. Good to know. Rivera-Hernández et al. Concluded that the coarse grains are sandstone, which tends to be deposited by flowing water. All right, so now we're getting into the fact that the size of these grains are telling us that there was flowing water at some point. Whereas the fine grains are mudstone. All right, so coarse grains, sandstone, fine grains, mudstone, which is slowly deposited by settling out of suspension in low flow water, leading the researchers to posit that A, although the area of Murray Formation experienced a prolonged period of dryness that prevented a lake from forming, water flowing from a distant source was present. All right, maybe. Again, here's where King of the Hill comes in. I'm not sure, but let's see what choice B says. A lake existed, let me go back, leading the researchers to posit that a lake existed at the Murray Formation for a prolonged period, though the lake occasionally experienced drying and there were periods in which one or more streams were present. I like B better than A because the information provided says there were two different types of grains, coarse and fine, and that those grains told us that there was flowing water at some point. Mudstone, and what was the other type of stone? I missed it or lost it. Sandstone, right? So B, I think, is better than A. Choice C, leading the researchers to posit that one or more streams existed at the Murray Formation for an extended period until being replaced by a lake that persisted for only a brief period before permanently drying. All right, so this may be true, but there's no evidence here at all about being replaced by a lake that persisted for only a brief. This is all very specific information. The information here must actually support what choice C is saying, and it does not. So I have to say B is better than C for that reason. And then choice D, leading the researchers to posit that a stream-fed lake was present at the Murray Formation for an extended period, and although the streams experienced occasional drying, the lake did not. That's very interesting. So we know that there was low flow water, there was flowing water. A lake doesn't really flow. I'm not sure where there is support of there being a lake here. A stream-fed lake, that's very specific. Maybe it's true, but there's no detail of that in the passage. The extended period of time, maybe, but there's just too much detail. A stream-fed lake was present at the Murray Formation for an extended time or extended period, and although the streams experienced occasional drying, which I think we do get this information, signs of cracking due to episodic desiccation, Desiccation means drying. So again, if you don't know that definition, that might be an issue here. Desiccation does mean drying, and it helps if you know that. And although the streams experienced occasional drying, the lake did not. How do we know that? There isn't any support for that whatsoever. So choice D is gone. Choice B is the best answer out of the bunch. And that's why I think choice B is the right answer.